waters of our Earth are filled with hundreds of thousands of different kinds of animals. Some spend all their lives in water. Some spend only part-time in water. Some are warm-blooded mammals. Some are cold-blooded reptiles. But whatever they are, whatever their size, all these animals have certain needs in common. One need is for food. Some eat plants. Others, other animals. They get their food in a number of different ways. The sea urchin scrapes tiny plants from rocks with file-like rasps that surround its mouth. The murex, a kind of snail, is able to drill a hole through the hard shell of a clam to get at the soft meat inside. Animals like the stingray eat food materials on the ocean bottom. Many of these bottom feeders have their mouths on the underside of their bodies. Rows of sharp teeth help meat eaters like the shark. Crabs have claws and special mouth parts to help them get food. This sea cucumber has tentacles to help it get its food as it inches along the ocean floor. Animals that don't move have other ways to get food. Sponges are animals fastened to one place, like plants. Since a sponge can't go after its food, food must be brought to it. White talcum powder shows how the sponge is constantly drawing in water that contains tiny food particles and pumping out water containing waste materials. These flower-like animals are sea anemones with poisonous tentacles that can stun other small animals. Once the prey is paralyzed, the sea anemone slowly draws the animal into its body. Beside the constant need for food, all animals need oxygen. Those animals that spend only part-time in the water must periodically surface to get their oxygen directly from the air. To do this, air containing oxygen is drawn into the body. This air eventually reaches the lungs. There, the oxygen is removed and transferred to the rest of the body. Animals that spend all their time underwater must get their oxygen directly from the water. Fish do this by drawing water containing oxygen into their body and passing it over the gills, which remove the oxygen. When the fish are moving, water is automatically forced over the gills each time the mouth opens. When the animal isn't moving, it may have to pump water over its gills by continually opening and closing its mouth to get the needed oxygen. That's what this flounder is doing, lying on its side on the ocean bottom. Something else many water animals have in common, even the smallest, is the ability to move. Some drift through the water, others move themselves. They move to find food and to avoid becoming the food of other animals. The snail moves on one large muscular foot. The starfish moves on hundreds of tube-like feet. The jellyfish pushes through the water with throbs of its entire body. The seal pushes with its tail. So do sharks. So do porpoises. To find their food, the animals of the water use most of the same senses that animals on land use: sight, sound, smell. These same senses are also used to perceive danger. Usually, when danger is sensed, the animal protects itself by moving away from it. Another method of protection is a hard covering. The hermit crab protects its soft body by living in the abandoned shell of another animal. Still another method of protection is to hide under a rock or shell. Sometimes living animals are used to hide in. The sea cucumber is host for the tiny pearlfish that actually spends time inside the larger animal. The sea urchin is protected by sharp spines. Many water animals are protected by their colors, which blend with their backgrounds. Once this flounder stops moving along the ocean bottom, it becomes extremely difficult to see. The long, thin trumpetfish assumes a vertical position and looks almost exactly like the waving colonies of polyps among which it hides. The trumpet fish waves gently, its tail up, its head down. The band-tail puffer, too, looks like the plants in which it hides. The scorpion fish looks like an algae-covered rock. Not only is this animal protected by being well camouflaged, but it is poisonous as well. But there is no protection that is absolute. And in the end, in one way or another, each individual animal perishes. While it lives, each animal must get food and oxygen and protect itself from the many other animals that would feed on it. What helps many species survive, however, is the enormous rate at which reproduction often takes place. A stunning variety of animals, some large, some small, some warm-blooded, some cold-blooded, some stationary, some fast-moving, have all found the things they need for survival in the enormous waters of our Earth.